how would your life will be different? How would you show up to your family, to your community, to everybody around you today? You knew exactly that you were financial independent woman. Let's talk about how to make that possible in today's episode. My dear ladies, I've been trying to record this episode for the longest time. I don't have time often now to sit down and record episodes. I tried to do it on my walk, but it was completely disaster. So I am going to try to replicate the pretty good message that I had on my walk the other day that I unfortunately couldn't give to you because it was very bad. You hear the wind of the Netherlands everywhere on this audio, and I didn't want that for you. But here is the thing. I want to talk about financial independence. Can we address what financial independence is and how the brown way to money is going to help you get there? I am going to cut the cookie cutter because this episode is only for those ones who are running and building a business because of financial independence. If that is you, then continue listening. If that is not your jam, if you are just for different reasons on business, then maybe skip to the next episode because what we're going to talk about requires a level of honesty, understanding, clarity that only those who are very clear that they want financial independence are going to be able to tap it. So let's start addressing what financial independence is. And what I've seen is that lots around the social media and around the events in person now that I'm going, a lot of women believe that financial independence for them is a number, is a place where you arrive to, is the number of clients that you are seeing, is the number of speaking engagements that you're getting, is the number of brand deals that you're getting, is a number in general. But it's not. But what I have found, and this is a cumulative knowledge, personal knowledge, financial studies knowledge, and experience, especially in the last 5 years that I've been able to mentor more than 550 women of color through this path of financial independence. What I have found is that financial independence, it is not an end goal. It is not a place to be. It is a process that you designed and walk, especially with your business. Let me break this down for you. So if today you are waking up to put all of the social media posts, to make all of those calls for collaboration, to call your producer, right? On knowing how the product is going, to call your business coach, to structure your offers if you have one, or to only structure your offers. All of them are going to give you an outcome out of those conversations. All of the things that you're doing are going to give you an outcome. The question here to ask is that outcome logging in to a process that you have for financial independence? And when I say a process, I'm not referring to the quote unquote, when I have the 100K or when I arrive to this number, I'm going to be financially free. No. With this process, what I mean is, how is every outcome of every action that you're doing with your business actually plugging into the path to financial independence? Financial independence is a process that you build now and that you continue plugging later on in your business. And the process looks like, and it is what the Brown framework stands for. The process looks like bringing in a big vision. What is the vision that you're tapping in for your business and for your life as a business owner? Because things got connected. You cannot start the financial independence process if you have a middle-ass vision. I am so sorry to say it that way. I'm actually not. But if you are going with what 99% of others are going, then you are not going to walk that path of financial independence because all of that people are not walking that path. You gotta tap into something different. You gotta tap into the big vision, the ambition. And we have been told as women of color that being ambitious, as a woman in general, the being ambitious is a bad thing. But I do believe every woman should be as ambitious as she pleases. Because once she's tapping into that ambition is when she's able to pull all of her story, to pull all of her financial path, to pull all of her financial past and hold it together and say, this is working and this is not working. And therefore I am going to plug this part here and that part. I can forget about it, or I can just see it from the outside, but it's not part of what I'm doing anymore. Only when women tap into that ambitious, into that thirstiness of really seeing that big vision coming to fruition, that is the moment that the financial path to financial independence starts to form. Really, financial independence path is starting to form without money? Yes. And I tell you why exactly that financial path starts without money. You know, because you listen to this podcast, that there is way more about money than just the money that you see in your bank account. There is trauma, financial trauma, there is money mindset, there is perspectives, there is habits, there is behavior, there is understandings and meanings that relate to money and that not necessarily have to do with money, like the physical money, right? Or the electronic money. When you bring that big vision to play, what you're doing is connecting all of those dots. So when you be as ambitious as you want and bring in that big vision for you and for your business, you start connecting and you start awakening those habits with money that may align or may not align with the big vision that you want. You start triggering that financial trauma that needs to be cleared up. You start triggering those perspectives that makes you think, where am I stuck here? You start triggering those mental shifts. You start triggering everything. It only happens if you bring in the big vision. And that's why it's the first step. And that's why it has nothing to do with money. Now, the second step of the financial independence process through the Brown framework is to remember but not relive. Especially as a women of color, we have a lot of history that we are not willing to forget. And I encourage you to not forget about that. I certainly do not forget, because where I come from, my story, my ancestors' story, my great-grandpa's stories, my great-grandma's stories, my grandma, my mom, my dad, my family, my brothers, my sister, my cousins, my neighbor, everything that I have gone through and has been part of what I'm standing today here for is so important to me, to who I am, to my identity, that I don't want to forget about that. Nor good or bad. I just don't want to forget about that. But what is really important with money and your path to financial independence is that when you remember that, it is far away memory. You remember it as a memory that doesn't trigger any type of emotion, that doesn't trigger any type of financial trauma, because the moment that it triggers that financial trauma is the moment where the path to financial independence, or the flow of money, or the way that you're showing up to sell, or the way that you're showing up to manage your business gets trunked. The moment that trauma is triggered, your brain goes into survival mode, and you are no longer tapping into intuition. You are no longer tapping into the solutions. You are no longer seeing the opportunities. You are no longer be able to play the entrepreneurial game. And that is why neutralizing those emotions and releasing that financial trauma is so important. So we want to remember what happened as a memory, as a photograph that you hold outside as a third thing, like objectively, oh, that happened, but no relief and none of those emotions that may be trapped there. That's what we do in the second step. We neutralize emotion. we release financial trauma. We clear the financial trauma. We clear the shame of earning more. We clear the guilt of being the one getting ahead financially and seeing our sisters and brothers, our cousins, our neighbors, our community going in a different way. We remember, but we don't relive. Are aware of what happened. We are aware of the injustice in the system. We are aware of what is happening economically around us, but we don't have to get triggered about it. Because when we don't get triggered about it, we come out with better solutions. And when we come up with better solutions, we see the opportunities to integrate those solutions and to provide that solution to the world. And that's when your business grows. So second step is to remember but not relive. The third step of the financial independence process through the Brown framework is owning your narrative. Owning your narrative, owning your narrative, owning your narrative. End of the story. Everything that you do as a woman of color in business ties to owning your narrative, which is something that we have to do as a business owners. It would be ideal to do as a business owners all the time. But historically, as a woman of color, we have not been encouraged to do. In fact, we have been punished to do, to own our narrative and stand for what we believe and for what we preach to the world. We have been punished to. I remember, and this was early on my career, when my great grandma, that is still alive, I'm very blessed, I'm very lucky for that. My great grandma will tell me stories about her mom, that her mom being able to stand in a room with a lot of other people as a servant, but not being able to say anything, nor inside. Like literally, she had to keep quiet the whole time until the thing was over, like until the reunion was over. She was not able to even say, do you need something? You know, as a waitress, you will go into tables and, hey, do you need something? Can I help you? You are doing your service, right? No, this was more like, you are here and you don't have a voice and you have to keep quiet all the time and just do as I tell you. And my great grandma will tell me that her mom will arrive home so tired of not speaking that she didn't want to speak anymore. Just process that. She was so tired of not speaking and to being stolen from your voice that when she will arrive home, she will be so tired that she couldn't talk anymore. The mental game of not being able to speak up, the mental game of being stolen from your voice, it's harder than anybody can imagine. And the truth is that as a community, as a Latinas, as Black women, as brown women, we have not been encouraged to talk. And when we did talk, when we did stand for our stuff, we were punished to do that. So there is a lot of trauma that has to be released in order for us today own our narratives, and trauma that our mothers and our sisters and our, previous generations have walked through. So we have a linear path to work towards. But as business owners, we have to embrace and own that narratives in ways that we didn't imagine, in ways that our families didn't imagine that we had to embrace it. So here in the third step of the path is really about transforming your life and your business on owning that narrative and how that ties into your financial independence. Is that once you're able to do that, you drive more revenue. You drive different streams of income. You drive an scalable business. You drive more partners to support. You drive more collaborations. You drive bigger sales. And the reason why you do that is because you're owning your narrative. You are going to hear on the episode with Nora that I just did. I explained this beautifully as well there, but I am only able to do my job right now in the first 3 hours of the day. So from 5 until 8 a.m. that my daughter is asleep, I am able to do everything that you see I'm doing. I'm able to, like, I have to do podcasts. I have to maybe not record it, because recording it can be when she's taking a nap. Like now she's in the daycare, so I can record. But to do this, I had to have some previous steps done. And now it only is going to take me how long the podcast recording goes, and that's it. But mostly I have 3 hours during my day to do everything that you see me doing. And the reason I can be so laser focused and potent on what I do and drive these collaborations and write for publications and do the speaking and all of that, the reason why I can do, besides of having an amazing support system around me, is because I own my narrative. I know my big vision. I know exactly where I want to go, know what I stand for. I know my voice, and I channel that through everything that I do. So it cuts a lot of the fluff, and it gives you the path to productivity and therefore the results with money. If you are in the path for financial independence and you are pivoting and you are not sure and you're hiding from your power by speaking and owning your own narrative, if you are still doing that, financial independence will look so far away and will relay again on what they have told you that financial independence is, which is once you get to the 100K, once you get to the $1 million, once you do that, once you get there, once that doesn't happen. That is what they have told you, but it's not like that. Again, financial independence is not a goal, it's a process. So if you continue hiding away from owning your narrative, you're gonna fall into, oh yeah, that financial independence happens once I get there. And you don't really embrace the process. So that's the third step. The fourth step is what solidifies everything. And it is what many people really skip. After all of the mindset work that we have done, after all of the financial trauma clearing, after all of the owning your narrative and stepping out there, you gotta have a simple, achievable plan that you can point out. So from the Brown framework, it stands for, what is your plan? What, when, who, and why? Like all of the W questions, right? You got to have a plan to create a new neural path, but also to shift the old ways and to start with the new ones. So for instance, inside of the Brown Way to Money Academy, a 12-week program where you are going to design and live your financial independence path as a woman of color, what we are doing is giving you the exact steps of the process in detail. So we are actually giving you this W, the what, when, and how inside of the program. We're giving you retirement, how you go about that, because that's a plan that you have to figure out for financial independence, how you go about taxes, because that is the actual plan that you have to figure out for financial independence. How do you go about investments? Because that is a plan that you have to figure out for financial independence. How do you drive more revenue from your message? Like the actual steps on how to do that we are going to teach you, because that is a plan that you have to learn towards financial independence. How do you place boundaries when you are earning more money by erasing shame and guilt and keeping more of that? Because that is an actual plan that you have to have for financial independence. That is the specific that I want you to get. What, who, when, and how. What is the plan? Once you have shifted, once you have done all of that, what is your plan? How are you gonna go tomorrow after this conversation to do something that can plug and play into the financial independence process that you are walking towards? And finally, the last piece of the process is to normalize being there. Normalize being there is huge for women of color. It's huge for us because we don't have enough examples out there to normalize and to see ourselves being there, to see ourselves. And the first thing why normalizing being there is so important, like seeing examples on representation is so important for us, is because your brain immediately associates. And if she can and she could, then I can also do it. If I see her, that she looks like me, that she talks like me, that she does something similar to that I do, then I could do it as well. Why I cannot do it? Once you have clear all of the things that we have clear on the financial independence path through the Brown framework, that normalizing becomes your mission. Not only for yourself, but for your kids, for your family, for your community, for the business that you're building, for the industry, for every single person that is watching you, because they're always watching you. They're always considering you. They're always keeping you in their mind, even if they don't realize it, because you're doing the work of putting yourself out there, your product, your services, your offers, everything. They are watching you. And it is up to us. It's our responsibility now to become the norm, to become financial independent, the norm for our community, so that we can grow as a community, so that we can grow as women of color. Because I am a true believer that only good things happen when women of color have more money on their heads. And part of that is being able to normalize the path to them, the path to us, to normalize seeing success related, correlated with us. That is something that I heard on the Black Barbie film it was a film or a documentary, I don't know. But the Black Barbie that was airing on Netflix, that is something that Mackenzie, I do believe she was Miss California. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. But Mackenzie said something that gave me chills and really clicked this last step of the financial independence process through the Brown framework for me. She said, with tears on her eyes, that in the environment that she was living, she was getting bullied a lot. And she was living a chaos on her reality. And every time that she will turn on the TV, either she wouldn't see anybody that looked like her, or when she did, will perpetuate what she was going through in life. They will perpetuate being poor, being perceived as ugly, being perceived as something that it was just a perpetuation of the bullying that she was getting on her reality at that moment. And when Black Barbie came, it was the representation of, I can also be beautiful. I can also have this status, right? So normalizing being there is more than just, oh, it is good for people to see me. I know that we are not that I know that we are not thinking in that way. That is not what I mean. Normalizing is normalizing the path of being financially independent and having a process to do that we can teach to our kids, our nephews, our nieces, our community, because we also are here to live in the conditions that we want to live for ourselves. We are here to design the life that we want to design for ourselves. I am tired. I'm sick, tired of seeing how the financial landscape out there is continue to perpetuate a white male dominated vision of the world. That is the ultimate reason why I created this program and what I'm reaching out to every single very skilled expert that I know on the field to come and teach you inside of this program. I'm going to give you the details in just a second, because when it comes to money, business owners are told to follow the build up the confidence and just go for it approach. They change your mindset, change your worth, save more than you spend. But yet, you know that despite of going the extra mile and putting yourself out there as a woman of color, you are ending up with little results and less confident and a very, very, very complex relationship with money marked by shame and guilt. So instead of following that path of that white male dominated vision of the world, what I have found is that financial success and financial independence as a women of color is within our reach. But by playing by the rules and forgetting about our story, our identity, our priorities, and the unique factors, cultural factors and understandings will only take you half there, will only take you as far as it has taken you right now. To succeed, you must eventually have to stop following their path and take up an entire differently way of understanding and living with money. And that is the path that I just told you about. You will need to bring in the big vision. You need to remember by not relive your past money stories. You need to own your narrative to grow your business, and you need to normalize being there for you and for all of us. In other words, you need brown way to money. So here's my invitation for you. Go right now to the money. So here's my invitation for you. If anything of this episode resonated, and I think a lot of it did and resonate with you, I need you to go right now to themoneymindset.hub.com/academy. That is the money mindset hub.com/academy, and sign up for the Brown Way to Money Academy. Inside of the academy, you're going to find a cohort where you're going to have 12 different classes throughout October, November, week of December and January, where we are going to talk about the steps and the achievable things, where we are going to talk about the things that matter for financial independence. We are going to address identity and money, budgeting, money planning, retirement, taxes, investment, erasing shame and guilt, driving more revenue from your business. We are addressing everything that needs to be addressed for financial independence, and we are laser focused on women of color. This is a program built thinking and learning and understanding the challenges that are unique to us, and it's really giving a solution to that. So go to themoneymindset.hub.com/academy, learn more about it, and sign up, because enrollment is closing October 15 for this first cohort. And it's not happening until next fall. So go right now and take this opportunity, because program like this with the type of experts that are coming, it is not only going to transform your business and your life, it is going to be one of the most essential things that you have learned with money that is going to follow you forever in your path. Forever. For you as a woman of color, and also for your kids, for your sisters, for your brothers, because this is knowledge that you replicate. And you know that you do that, because I do that. We do that. We replicate everything that we learn and hear. We give it back. So take this opportunity to get into this cohort that is closing enrollment on October 15, and really designed and live this path to financial independence right now, and start the process. It is as simple but as difficult as that. That is my invitation for you. If you have any questions, my inbox is always open. If you have any questions, my inbox is always open. Just email us to hello@themoneymindset.hub.com. Me or one person of my team will answer to your questions.